of economy, which is the law of adaptation in time and space, or the line of least resistance. This line of least resistance is that which is sought for and followed on the matter side of existence. Incidentally, Brahma manifests will, because he is purpose, and love because in this solar system love is the line of least resistance. While this is an occult statement worthy of consideration, yet it must be remembered that he is primarily activity and intelligence with the aim of adaptability, and that this is his main characteristic. The second Logos. The second Logos, Vishnu, the divine wisdom ray, the great principle of Buddhi seeking to blend with the principle of intelligence, is characterized by love. His motion is that which we might term spiral cyclic. Availing himself of the rotary motion of all atoms, he adds to that his own form of motion, or of spiraling periodical movement, and by circulation along an orbit, or spheroidal path, which circles around a central focal point in an ever-ascending spiral, two results are brought about. A. He gathers the atoms into forms. B. By means of these forms he gains the needed contact, and develops full consciousness on the 5 planes of human development, gradually rarefying and refining the forms as the spirit of love, or the flame divine spirals ever onward towards its goal, that goal which is also the source from which it came. These forms are the sum total of all spheres or atoms within the solar system, or within the solar ring basnot, and in their 7 major differentiations they are the spheres of the 7 spirits, or the 7 planetary logoi. All lesser spheres ranging downward from these major spheres, include all grades of manifestation down to the elemental essence on the arc of involution. 66-64 We need to remember that on the path of involution, the action of Brahma is primarily felt, seeking the line of least resistance. On the path of evolution the work of the second Logos is felt, beginning at a point in time and space which hides the mystery of the second chain, but finding its point of accelerated vibration or the unification of the 2 modes of manifestation rotary spiral cyclic in the middle part of what we call the third chain. This is after all the blending of the activity of Brahma with the onward progress of Vishnu. We have the correspondence to this in the sum total of the effects, brought about in the second and third root races. The activity of the second Logos is carried on under the cosmic law of attraction. The law of economy has for one of its branches a subsidiary law of marked development called the law of repulsion. The cosmic laws of attraction and economy are therefore the raison d'etre, viewed from one angle, of the eternal repulsion that goes on as spirit seeks ever to liberate itself from form. The matter aspect always follows the line of least resistance, and repulses all tendency to group formation, while spirit, governed by the law of attraction, seeks ever to separate itself from matter by the method of attracting an ever more adequate type of matter in the process of distinguishing the real from the unreal, and passing from one illusion to another until the resources of matter are fully utilized. Eventually the indweller of the form feels the urge, or attractive pull, of its own self. The reincarnating jiva, for instance, lost in the maze of illusion, begins in course of time to recognize, under the law of attraction, the vibration of its own ego, which stands to it as the Logos of its own system, its deity in the 3 worlds of experience. Later, when the body egoic itself is seen as illusion, the vibration of the monad is felt, and the jiva, working under the same law, works its way back through the matter of the 2 planes of superhuman evolution, till it is merged in its own essence. Therefore, A. The goal of the second Logos is consciousness, to be achieved in cooperation with the third Logos. B. His function is the building of forms, to be his instruments of experience. C. His mode of action is cyclic and spiral, the revolution of the wheel of existence in ordered cycles for a specific purpose, and the progression of these spheres of matter around a fixed center, within the solar periphery. these three concepts are governed by the law of attraction, or the law governing the interplay or the action and reaction. A. Between the sun and its six brothers. B. Between the circling whirling seven planes of the solar system. C. Between everything in the matter of all forms, the spheres of matter themselves and the aggregate of those spheres that are embodied in the forms of still others. The first logos. The first logos is the ray of cosmic will. His mode of action is a literal driving forward of the solar ring pass not through space, and until the end of this Mahamanvantara, or day of Brahma, the logoic cycle, we shall not be able to conceive of the first aspect of will or power as it really is. We know it now as the will to exist, manifesting through the matter of the forms, the primordial ray and the divine ray, and we know it as that which in some occult manner links the system up with its cosmic center. In a manner inconceivable to us, the first logos brings in the influence of other constellations. When this first aspect is better understood, in the next Mahamanvantara, the work of the seven rishis of the Great Bear, 67-65, and the supreme influence of Sirius will be comprehended. In this present manifestation of the Sun, or of the Vishnu aspect, we are concerned more closely with the Pleiades and their influence via the Sun, and, in relation to our planet, via Venus. The subject of the first logos, manifesting only in connection with the other two in the system, is a profound mystery, which is not fully understood by even those who have taken the sixth initiation. The first logos embodies the will to live, and it was through his instrumentality that the Manasaputras came into objective existence in relation to the human and Deva hierarchies. In this system, the blending of the divine ray of wisdom and the primordial ray of intelligent matter forms the great dual evolution. Back of both these cosmic entities stands another entity who is the embodiment of will, and who is the utilizer of forms, though not the forms of any other than the greater building devas and the human hierarchies in time and space. He is the animating principle. The will to live aspect of the seven hierarchies. Nevertheless, these seven hierarchies are, as says HPB, the sevenfold ray of wisdom, the dragon in its seven forms. 68, 66, 69 5 Years of Theosophy, page 102. As a general rule, whenever seven entities are mentioned in the ancient occult science of India in any connection whatsoever, you must suppose that those seven entities came into existence from three primary entities. And that these three entities, again, are evolved out of a single entity or monad. To take a familiar example, the seven color rays in the solar ray are evolved out of three primary color rays. And the three primary colors coexist with the four secondary colors in the solar ray. Similarly, the three primary entities which brought man into existence coexist in him with the four secondary entities, which arose from different combinations of the three primary entities. Read also SD, I, 190, 191.67, 7068. This is a deep mystery, and only a clue to it all can be found at this time by man in the contemplation of his own nature in the three worlds of his manifestation. Just as our Logos is seeking objectivity through his solar system in its threefold form, of which the present is the second, so man seeks objectivity through his three bodies: physical, astral and mental. At this time he is polarized in his astral body, or in his second aspect, in like manner as the undifferentiated Logos is polarized in his second aspect. In time and space as we now conceive it, the sum total of jivas are governed by feeling, emotion, and desire, and not by the will, yet at the same time the will aspect governs manifestation, for the ego, who is the source of personality, shows in manifestation the will to love. The difficulty lies in the inability of the finite mind to grasp the significance of this threefold manifestation, but by thoughtful brooding over the personality and its relation to the ego, who is the love aspect, and who nevertheless in relation to manifestation in the three worlds is the will aspect likewise, will come some faint light upon the same problems raised to deity, or expanded from microcosmic to macrocosmic spheres. The Mahava aspect or the first logos, who embodies cosmic will, is controlled by the law of synthesis, the cosmic law governing the tendency to unification. Only in this case, it is not the unification of matter and spirit, but the unification of the seven into the three, and into the one. These three figures primarily stand for spirit, for quality, for principle, and not so primarily for matter, although matter, being inspired by spirit, conforms. The law of synthesis has a direct connection with one who is still higher than our logos, and is the law of control exercised by him upon the logos of our system. This is a spiritual relationship that tends to abstraction or to that synthesis of the spiritual elements that will result in their conscious return, the whole point lying in that word, conscious, to their cosmic point of synthesis, or of unification with their source. Their source is the one about whom not may be said, as we have earlier seen. Therefore, in connection with the first logos, we can sum up as we did with the other logoi. A. His goal is the synthesis of the spirits who are gaining consciousness through manifestation, and who, by means of experience in matter, are gaining in quality. B. His function is, by means of will, to hold them in manifestation for the desired period, and later to abstract them, and blend them again with their spiritual source. Hence the necessity of remembering that fundamentally, the first logos controls the cosmic entities, or extra-systemic beings. The second logos controls the solar entities. The third logos controls the lunar entities, and their correspondences elsewhere in the system. This rule must not be carried too far in detail, as long as man's mind is of its present caliber. The mystery lies in the realization that all is carried on in a divine cooperation, that has its base outside the system. Hence too the fact that the first logos is called the destroyer, because he is abstraction, if viewed from below upwards. His work is the synthesis of spirit with spirit, their eventual abstraction from matter, and their unification with their cosmic source. Hence also he is the one who brings about pralaya or the disintegration of form, the form from which the spirit has been abstracted. If we carry the analogy down to the microcosm, a glimpse can be gained of the same idea, and hence ability to comprehend with greater facility. The ego, being to the man on the physical plane what the logos is to his system, is likewise the animating will, the destroyer of forms, the producer of pralaya, and the one who withdraws the inner spiritual man from out of his threefold body. He draws them to himself, the center of his little system. The ego is extra-cosmic as far as the human being on the physical plane is concerned, and in the realization of this fact may come elucidation of the true cosmic problem involving the logos, and the spirits in prison, as the Christian puts it. See, his mode of action is a driving forward. The will that lies back of evolutionary development is his, and he it is, who drives spirit onward through matter till it eventually emerges from matter, having achieved two things.